Hi, welcome to a new episode of Hallmark Heartbeats podcast, a podcast all about Hallmark movies. I am your host, Camille. Today I get to interview actor Nathan Witte, star of Sealed with a Kiss, Wedding March 6. We talk about working with Josie Bizet, Jack Wagner, and Caitlin Stryker, his character Curtis, and relationships lessons people could take from this movie. Also, we discuss his current project now called Merry Liddle Christmas 3, starring Kelly Rowland, Black Love, and the slow progress in representation in media and how it has affected his mindset during the early years of his career. Here's the interview. For our listeners, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Nathan Witte, and I am an actor in Vancouver, BC.
Your last name is Witte? I thought all this time it was Witt.
That is one pronunciation of it, but I prefer the pronunciation of Witte. That's the German kind of phonetic way of saying it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds German. Is that part of your ethnicity?
Yeah, so my dad's side's German and my mother's side's Bayesian, Barbados.
Ooh, that sounds really cool. I never even thought of that. So, like the thing about it is I try to research all the people that I interview just to get like some background on who they are and stuff. But like you're a blank slate. Like I try to Google you, I try to IMDb you, I try to look and see. So my question to you is, who is Nathan Witte? Like who are you? Like where are you from? What kind of, if you were to describe who you are to any of the fans, what would you say?
That's a very, very deep question. I'm still trying to figure out who I am. I think that's going to take me right to the grave, trying to discover who I am. But I do many different things here to help myself discover who I am. So one of those things that I do, as you're aware from this interview, acting. And so acting has brought me out to the West Coast on Vancouver, BC. I'm from originally Calgary, Alberta. So not a lot of people know that I'm kind of like a farm boy. Like I grew up in the prairies, grew up on a farm with my grandparents in the summertime, looking after cows and horses and that kind of thing. So hard work isn't something that I stray away from. It's kind of like my bedrock. And so getting into the acting world didn't seem like a big of a feat to me like it did to some other people. And I decided to take this vocation because I didn't know what I wanted to be essentially in junior high and high school. And then instead of trying to figure out one thing, acting stumbled upon my realization that I could be everything by choosing one thing.
Yeah. Have you done any like cowboy movies? That would be fun to do, like since you grew up like with that kind of in real life.
It would be very fun. I've ridden horses growing up, but I haven't done any cowboy movies. I don't really fit the demographic.
That's what I was gonna say too.
It'd be a lot of fun to shoot a Western movie. I would be down to do something like Tombstone, like way back in the day. That's like one of my favorite Western movies in a while. But we'll see. The times are changing, so you never know what the future will hold.
Which is so like your most recent role, which is what the interview is about, is the Wedding March 6, Sealed with a Kiss. I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not like the movie.
Yeah, I saw your post.
But my question to you is, did you see the whole series before you got the role?
No, I wasn't actually familiar with the series before the audition. And then when I auditioned for it, I didn't know I was getting the role until 2 months after, which was like a week before the role. So I didn't have enough opportunity to watch the series before in my preparation. So I just jumped right into preparation to get ready for shooting the week after, and then there's wardrobes and hair stuff and all that kind of stuff to get ready for the role. So
you actually were more clean shaven in that movie than you are now, and I like you now. You were clean shaven. I like the stubble or whatever. It's like now. I don't know why, but for some
no,
reason, with some men, the stubble is much better than you know.
I honestly prefer the stubble because shaving is a very tedious and time consuming task, and like shaving, like it irritates my skin, so I actually prefer it this way. But yeah, like I'm currently like this for the current role, and
Yeah.
you're not the only one. I get a lot of people on my social media who actually miss my full beard, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And Hallmark, for the most part, this is part of their changing, is that prior to the movie I did last year, My Best Friend's Bouquet, where I actually had a full beard,
Yes.
Hallmark was no beards
Yeah.
for the entire time I've been in the industry. And for them to make that shift over has just shows kind of their growth.
Yeah.
And yeah, I prefer it as well. So it's all good.
Weren't you on Chesapeake Shores with
I
a
had
full
a
beard?
no, I think I might have been like this with clean shaven. It was a very quick.
Yeah, it was a very, very short, quick role, but
Yeah.
I remember watching it just this past weekend. I was like, I think that's Nathan. You played a producer, and you just went to Trace, whatever his name is, Riley, and was like, the files got deleted or something.
Yeah, that's the episode. Yeah, I can't remember what my picture. I'd have to look at a photo.
But yeah, I looked at it. I was like, I think but yeah, I thought that was with you with the beard. But anyway, so how was it working with Josie, Jack, and Caitlin?
Great. That was the first time I met Jack Wagner and Josie Bissett, and I thought it was a very cool moment for me in my life, because I remember Jack and Josie from Melrose Place. My mom, that was like my mom's favorite show, that and 90210. So
Yeah.
those two shows I grew up just kind of like by happenstance watching, kind of like my dad watching MASH. Now I was like, oh, all right, it's their turn. So so it was very surreal to be able to be in the same movie, let alone same space as those two. And it was fantastic. Jack is he's such a professional, and he's such a, a well-grounded human being, and he carries the vibe for the show, or for the whole series. I guess it's kind of like his series that he's pitched to Hallmark. So he's kind of like the head honcho on set, and he comes in and he takes control, and I really admire that about him. So it's like, especially on like the first days, sometimes first days on set, everybody's just kind of figuring out their place, figuring out the energy. And then Jack's in there like a dirty shirt. He's like, all right, everybody, like up the energy. Okay. We need a little bit more here. We need a little bit more there. Let's bring the vibe. Let's run these lines. Like he's in it. And that's what I love. He's like, it's like taking the bull by the horns. So I really admire that about Jack. And Josie, she's like his perfect balance, because she's so chill, she's calm. She balances out Jack's kind of like, yeah, let's go, because she's like, okay, yeah, and she's so sweet. And her and I were able to connect like heart to heart immediately, as like almost like we were like two souls that had met before, kind of thing. Like we were able to just go so deep, get past the pleasantries, and just be able to just get real and talk about life. I mean, those are the kind of my favorite things to talk about, and so I really enjoyed my time with her. And then Caitlin Stryker, her and I, this is the first time her and I were acting in this capacity, but we worked together already a year ago doing a play where she was directing me. Her and her co-director Carmela Mint were directing me in this online virtual play.
Yeah, I saw the video on her Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, this is different."
That's one way to put it. It was definitely different. Doing a play with no audience.
But yeah, you worked with Caitlin before in a play titled Cock.
Yeah, there you go. You just got to say it. I know it gets people wide-eyed.
What is Cock about? And what was it like working with Caitlin in that capacity?
Cock is a play that has no props. It doesn't really have it has no props, and it's no furniture. So it's just actors on a stage in a circle, like emulating a style of cockfight. And it's about a main character named M, who is a gay character, and I play John, his partner, and we are in a long-term relationship that gets to the point where sometimes you can get complacent or you're picking on each other's nerves. Excuse me. And so M's character starts to kind of like wander, and he meets this woman out, and he notices that she's attracted to him, and then they start to make this connection, and he discovers in himself that he now likes women and men, and so he's going through this conflict of essentially like an identity crisis of like,
right,
who is he and what does it mean to like one or the other. And then eventually in the third act of the play, it comes to where I've invited the woman over for dinner, and it essentially turns into what can be looked at as a cockfight between the two of us, kind of competing over M, the main character, and then him kind of in the middle, trying to figure out for himself what he really wants and doesn't want. And so the play kind of plays on these modern takes of like labels and who we are supposed to be or who we're not supposed to be, and
right,
and the fact that if you've decided to be one thing, you can no longer be anything else because you made that decision.
right.
And so I thought it was a great exhibit on the human condition of who we are as individuals and our place in the world and kind of what that means. So it's kind of got like an esoteric vibe to it as well. And there's some comedy in there. And then of course in the third act, my father, I invite my father over to kind of back me up because he has his woman there. So I try to make it even. So it's got some hilarity in it, but it was very challenging to do a play without any furniture. There's no setting, there's no props, but there's a lot of talk about props. So as an actor, it was challenging to let go of all that. And that's what really drew me to the play was that. And then the fact that we were doing it during COVID.
Right.
And so we Caitlin and Carmel decided, as well as Troy, who was playing the lead, they created this immersive experience where they were filming it handheld in the moment. So as we're acting, we've got these cameras kind of moving around us in the plane and immersive, and you could see the camera as the audience member watching online. And so that really drew me to the play because I'm all about trying new things and experimenting.
Yeah. So this isn't actually like in theater, because when I think theater, when I think play, I think like theater and audience. This is like online video kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be in a theater setting where people can view it,
Yeah.
and almost like a coliseum where it's kind of like you're in a circle so you can see all the way around. But yeah, this was a completely new thing I've never done before. Same with Caitlin and the rest of the cast and crew.
I feel like that's one good thing. That's one thing about COVID that is positive, even though it's still negative, is that it's kind of like had people do stuff that they never did before and try things. They've become more creative with how to express themselves, with like, I've never heard of like a video play, if that makes sense. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you're absolutely right. And it was great because even though there can be a lot of negative aspects to this pandemic, we were finding ways to find the silver lining. And the beautiful part about it as well was that we started to show the art world that there's other ways to create art. We don't have to just shut down because the world says shut down.
Right.
And what was cool is now people in London who wouldn't have been able to see the play have seen the play. People in Australia. So we had people all over the world
Wow.
watching our play. Whereas if we didn't do that, it would be only people in Vancouver.
Right.
And so then that inspired people in Europe to also want to do something like this during
Wow.
COVID. So and I think that's kind of the essence of art, is to inspire
Evolve.
and evolve, yeah, and to create new and express the times as they are.
Yeah. So where can we watch it?
That's the tricky part. So I don't think you can. So this the streaming service has a very restricted viewing, and it was only last year, and then we did another viewing this past summer, like an encore presentation, but they haven't released the footage for us to reveal online because there's copyright issues with the play and stuff like that. So hopefully sometime in the future, with enough time that passes, people can watch it.
That does sound interesting though, because I feel like that is a discussion so many people are facing with. It's like the whole identity, sexual orientation identity kind of thing, gender identity, that kind of thing. It's like if you are labeled, if you come out as gay, but you're attracted to someone of the opposite sex, does that mean that you're not gay anymore? Or what does that mean? You know what I mean? Or like, same with like if you're straight, but you find a woman attractive, like for me or something like that, would that mean that I'm not straight anymore? You know what I mean? It's like, when does the line blur to something else or whatever?
And I think that's some kind of issues with us as humans and people, is that we are always looking to label and put things into a box so that we can feel more comfortable about our understanding of whatever it is that we may not have an understanding about. And I think the less that we try to label things and go from more of an emotive perspective and feeling, then I don't think it should matter. Like, I don't, whoever you like, if you like, because love is love at the end of the day.
Yeah, love is love. That's true. Was that your first time playing a gay character?
No, actually, I've being in Vancouver, there's a large gay population here, and so it's more open here, it's more free. Whereas I come from Alberta, Calgary, and it's contrary. Hopefully it's better now, but when I used to live there, it was definitely contrary than it is here. So because there's a larger demographic here, there's a lot more people doing art, and so I've done probably 3 plays now, playing a gay character.
Wow, that's kind of cool though.
Yeah, it's fun. I think it's fun. There's some like nuances within the gay community and like those types of characters that I really enjoy playing.
Yeah. So back to Curtis. What are some similarities that you have with your character? Some similarities and differences that you have with him?
Well, I mean, that's kind of
you're an actor.
Right? So that's a definite uncanny parallel right there, is that we're both actors. But I think, like myself and maybe in a large demographic of males, is that we tend to go to the beat of our own drum and can sometimes neglect or forget what our partner expecting from us, or what will make them happy. And so it's definitely not the first time I've made my girlfriend maybe unhappy with some of the decisions I've made. So
Yes.
there was definitely some things in my personal life I could pull from to help me express those moments of uncomfortability when I'm asking my partner to compromise on her wishes.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh. I did not like that character. I was like thinking, I put on my podcast, I was like men, if you want to surprise your girlfriend, don't get a mortgage.
Right.
Especially not where she wants to live. Like, unless you want the wedding to be called off anyway. But yeah, don't do
Right?
that.
Don't do that. So I think that's it. There's some great.
Go buy jewelry. That's a nice surprise.
Right? It's a nice surprise. And maybe try not to do it where you're buying her love like Kurt was maybe doing a little bit in the movie, you know?
Yeah.
Even though a lot of ladies will probably still enjoy the jewelry, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, don't buy a house unless, of course, you discussed it first, right? Especially if she doesn't know where you're buying it.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, honey, hi, surprise! I got you a
Yeah,
house. Like, wait, what?
yeah, we're moving across the world.
And then the whole like, the thing about it is the other thing I pointed out was like, what's her name? Autumn was like, girl, you're supposed to be this strong, assertive woman. That's why your character's nickname for her is Madge, named after Majestic Mia, her character that she wrote. I kind of wish that book was real. But it's like, girl, you're supposed to be this assertive woman. Why are you letting your guy's career like silence you into wanting what you want, saying what you want for your wedding, like standing up for yourself, you know what I mean?
Right. And I think that's you bring up a very big point. And I think there's a lot of nuances and intricacies when it comes into relationships, that it's not as easy as just saying, yes and no. For one, Autumn and Kurt, they went to school together. So, and they grew up together. So there's this friendship aspect, and then there's this history aspect. And then there's when you're in a relationship with someone that, as far as I can grasp, is that when you want to marry that person and spend the rest of life with that person, you want the best for the other individual. And when one party is starting to really excel at an aspect of their life that they're passionate about, I think for the most part, in a lot of cases, your partner doesn't want to come in and impede that process, doesn't want to be a wedge between you and your success, because they love you and they want to see you do well. And so, like every relationship, we all have to compromise to a certain degree. And I believe that's what Autumn's doing, is that she's compromising. It starts off like, oh, I'll compromise this, that's this. And then next thing you know, a couple of weeks go by and you turn around and you go, oh, wait a minute, I've actually compromised more than I thought I was going to, right? And sometimes it takes that much to go, oh, wait a minute, like I'm actually doing this for you and not for me. And then she eventually does stand up for herself.
Yeah.
And I think and when she does, it's warranted, because it shows that Kurt's kind of got this negligence to her, even though he's conscious in some moments that he's like, hey, is this okay? Okay, it's okay. Okay, bye.
Yeah, but like it's like your character asks with like I don't know how to say this, but your character asks sort of knowing, hoping that she'd say yes, or kind of like sweet talking her to say yes, kind of thing. Like one of my favorite moments is when your character and his best friend went fishing. And he said, just because you can persuade someone to do something doesn't mean that you should.
Mm-hmm.
because like sometimes we have to, like you said, in real relationships, you kind of have to give and take, and at some point, like you have to recognize you're taking, but not really giving. You get what I'm saying?
I do, yeah. And like, I think what also lends, I think it would be a lot different too, for a lot worse for Autumn in that respect if um my Kurt's produce or not producer, his publicist wasn't there.
Publicist. Yeah.
But because he has one in one ear and the other in the other ear, he's constantly trying to appease both sides. And so it really plays. And then of course Autumn can see it. She's like, oh, his career is actually here. His publicist is actually here. And so she doesn't want to seem like, a bitch, right? Which sometimes women can be misconstrued as when they stand up for themselves.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess she was lending to that as well, where she doesn't want to come across as like someone who's like, you can't go after your career, and then if Kurt's publicist wasn't there, I think it would be a lot easier to just say no on the phone. Hey, no, we're not doing it. Bye,
Yeah.
end of story. But he's got his publicist there kind of, hey man, your
Poking,
career.
poking, yeah.
Yeah, and when you've got someone saying, hey, your career's on the line, and you've been working your entire life to get to this moment, the last thing you want to do is shut the door now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Now, I just wish that y'all, like, she had spoken up for herself more, because I don't know. I just feel like I look at it more like no one's career should be that important or that intimidating or that whatever that silences your voice. You know what I mean? Because the whole time she kept saying, I'm doing this for Kurt's career. I'm doing this for Kurt's career. I'm doing this for Kurt's career. I'm sitting there like, well, what about you? You're the bride. Kurt's career is secondary, like not even in the picture. He shouldn't be in the picture anyway. You're the bride. Speak up for yourself. You're like half of the wedding. You know what I mean? Like,
and I think that's a wonderful perspective that it was able to instill in yourself and probably a lot of other viewers out there. And what a great opportunity for women watching this to go, hey, you know what? I don't want to be like that. An opportunity to see somebody else going through these motions of compromise and giving away pieces of herself when she knows she doesn't want to, right? And allowing the viewers to go, you know what? Yeah, I should be sticking up for myself. I should be doing things for me and for my partner, but not at the expense of myself. And
right.
and I think that the script did a wonderful job doing that, because here you are now going, damn it, I did not like her. Which means that you might change the way you go into your relationships in the future.
Yeah, that is true. So your newest project, which you're in the middle of filming right now. So first of all, you look good in that picture. What was you in a white coat and I don't know what you were. You were like, you look good in that picture. Hopefully I hope I'm not offending you or crossing any lines or whatever. Like,
I appreciate it.
You look damn good in that picture.
They're doing such a great job on that set, like the makeup artist, the hair, the wardrobe.
Latanya's picture. I saw James Kendra. I saw Kelly's, and I was like, damn, who is working the set? And they are like killing it with the costumes and the makeup. I mean, every single person looked good. But anyway, let's back up. You're working on Merry Liddle Christmas 3, and so which is fun. I love the very first IG story that you posted from back behind the scenes. So I did not know that you were doing MLC at the time. I was like, ooh, I like all that melanin.
Yeah, so do we. So do we.
All that melanin is good because we talked about this. There's a severe lack of it, especially in some shows. But anyway, let's talk about MLC. What is it? What's your character gonna be? And what's the story? And when does that come out? And whew, man, y'all look good in that movie
Well,
already.
thank you. Well, I'll try to say stuff without revealing too much. This is the third installment, obviously MLC 3. I came in MLC 2 as the love interest for the character that Brisha's playing.
Yeah.
And so it's just an extension of that. So it's another Christmas with the Littles, for sure. I can't reveal too much, of course, and it'll be out around December, Christmas time, I'm pretty sure.
I am so guilty of never having even seen the movies. So, like, what is it about, really? Like,
okay.
The full premise of it.
And what if you do decide to watch 1 and 2, and then now 3 when it comes out,
where do you watch these? Because it's on Lifetime, I know, but I turned off cable, so I need to know like the streaming app to watch them.
I think Amazon Prime may have. I know Amazon Prime has Hallmark, and I think they may have Lifetime as well. But don't hold me to that. But so the Merry Liddle Christmas is where Kelly Rowland and Thomas Cadero they connect in the first one and become kind of like an item, and he's her neighbor, and they kind of hit it off. And the first one is the Christmas just turns into this disaster, and Thomas is there with like this gentleman poise that helps ground kind of the movie when it gets kind of hectic in Kelly's family's world. And it's the Littles is this big family that always gets together around Christmas, and in essence, like you were mentioning about seeing like a lot of melanin, this is an opportunity for Kelly and her team and just Lifetime and the film industry to showcase melanin in a positive perspective, where it's not, just no gangsters, that we're not, people ain't selling drugs, and people ain't shooting people, it's beautiful to just movies to show Black love. And I think that is the basis and foundation of all of the Merry Liddle Christmas.
That's awesome. I'm happy that this is just like, showing the real Black love.
That it exists,
that Black families exist.
That's what it feels like with this cast and crew, for sure. We definitely feel like a family, and the opportunity to be able to be a part of something that can showcase Black love and highlight it, I think is very rewarding, and I'm honored and privileged to be a part of it, because like as I'm pretty sure you're aware of, like BLM, the Black Lives Matters, last year when that was really taking off, and we were shooting the second installment of Merry Liddle Christmas all over TV, the media was projecting movies that Black people were in and were about, but it was always like Boys Menace to Society, or Juice, or it was all of these movies where it was showing Black men as gangbangers, and it's not to say that those don't have the place or that it doesn't exist, but it was almost kind of like a backhanded compliment. It's just like, here we are trying to help uplift the Black community because of the Black Lives Movement by showcasing more Black talent, but all I could see was violent Black talent.
One of my favorite Black love movies growing up was Love and Basketball.
I was just that's like mine too. Like, if you didn't say it, I was gonna say it.
Like I watched that movie on repeat. That was like my favorite thing ever. What was his name? Oh God.
It's been so long since I've seen that, but when I was a kid, that's what I grew up watching too. That movie was really showed me aspects of love that I was just starting to discover at like the age of like 11 and 12 and 13.
Yeah, that was a good movie too. I love that movie.
Yeah, I didn't see that on during Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean?
I know, right? Like, hello, show that. But yeah, it's
You're absolutely right. That was and go back to one of your earlier questions, like to know a little bit about me. That was in order for me to start to see a little bit more success in my career. Early on in my auditioning process, I wasn't booking, and instead of looking outside myself as to like, oh, it's my agent or it's casting or it's this, that, and the other, I always looked in and go, well, if I'm not booking, it's me. And after a lot of introspection, I discovered that when I was reading the audition sides and visioning the character that I was auditioning for, I was actually subconsciously visioning a white person, and I didn't know that for the first few years. And of course, when I go into the audition room and take those few minutes to portray the character, no one's going to see me if I can't see me. And here I am not booking because subconsciously I was seeing a white person in my mind because I grew up just watching white people on TV.
yeah,
And that's how deeply ingrained it goes. And so I really had to sit down and mentally fix the way I saw myself. And so that every time I got an audition, that I'm actually focusing in and going, no, I got to picture my face and not just kind of pretend like I'm picturing my face.
yeah,
And that just goes, and that's just a testament to like what media can do to the mind.
yeah,
It's a beautiful thing that the world is waking up to this.
yeah. It's taking too long though.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree more. But at the very least, it's happening.
Yes, that is true. Um, do you have any other projects coming up other than Merry Liddle Christmas?
Uh, yeah, I've got two more projects coming out. There's another one with Hallmark called Sit, Stay, Love, but it will probably change the title because there's movies now all coming out with that same title. Where I play like the love interest between two different ladies in there, and they're kind of competing, and I own like a conglomerate of grocery stores, and so it's like a dog love movie. And then I just recently finished just before jumping on Merry Liddle Christmas, shooting a movie with Jordan Sparks, and yeah, so that'll be another Christmas movie coming out on the Lifetime Network.
Is that the one that she's doing for Hallmark? Because I know she's doing one for Hallmark this year too.
I think it's Lifetime. Maybe it's I thought it was Lifetime, but yeah, she's it's a Christmas movie, and that should be coming out pretty soon. Well, obviously, like November, December.
Michael, so you are working with singers / actors.
It's pretty cool actually. Like it's funny how like certain careers go in certain ways, and I'm a music lover. I was into music before acting.
Do you sing?
I sing, but I do more spoken word and poetry and hip hop, and I'm a lyricist. And so right now I'm working on my voice. I do a little bit of singing, getting better at that.
So what did you do during COVID? I assume that there wasn't a lot of filming going on during 2020, though.
Well, no, I was filming, and I didn't realize until my agent told me earlier this year that I was one of the few actors at the agency that was working throughout the pandemic.
Wow.
He's like, yeah, he's like, we were kind of twiddling our thumbs, and he's just like, but there you were, Nate. You were like repeatedly going on set. So I feel really blessed and privileged to have been able to work throughout COVID. I was also working at a corporate job during at COVID at a cannabis company up here, and then they fired me, which was probably one of the best things that's happened to me.
So now you can do full-time acting.
Exactly.
Which is exactly what you want to do. This is kind of what you want to do. You don't want to be corporate.
Exactly. It was perfect timing. Like the day they fired me, the next day, my agent called me and told me I booked my best friend's bouquet. So it was like the universe was giving me all the signs.
Yeah. That was a good movie too. My best friend's bouquet was nice. That was it. Was that your first time leading for Hallmark? Right?
Leading, yes, that was my first lead with Hallmark. Yeah.
Yeah. But what was your like first project with Hallmark?
I think that one was June and January. That was maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh wow, that was a long time ago. Yeah, that was well, you have moved up.
Yeah, I want to keep moving up.
I know, right? But keep moving. What's that old TV show with Jess moving on up
The
to
Jeffersons, yeah.
the sun
Good deluxe apartment in the
in the
sky.
sky. Moving on up. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for letting me talk to you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I let